Welcome to the Homefront Podcast. Each month, Andrew Brock, President and CEO of Home Ventures, a leading prop tech investment firm, sits down with industry movers and shakers to uncover how technology transforms community living. We explore cutting-edge trends, innovative solutions, and future advancements that impact homeowners, community members, and HOA professionals. Join us as we decode the digital revolution. Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the Homefront Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Brock. Today, we have a very special guest. Was born in Houston, into an Air Force family, traveled the world, met his wife, Sandy, on a blind date, has been married for 46 years, has 2 grown children, served as a district state judge here in Texas, then went on to become an associate justice of the Texas Supreme Court, then on to attorney general, and since 2002 has been serving the great state of Texas in the United States Senate. We are thrilled today to have with us U.S. Senator John Cornyn.
Great to be with you.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
You know, as I was preparing for today, I was struck by what's really been a lifetime of service for you, public service. You entered into office really fairly young and moved rather rapidly in your career. And I was just kind of curious, the concept of public service. Was that something that was prioritized in your family, or did you grow up thinking that was what you wanted to do, or?
Well, sometimes I tell people I've had a hard time holding a job because I've done so many different things, and no grand plan, no 5-year plan or anything like that. It's just it seemed to happen. And what I've noticed in my career is that if you do a good job or a respectable job in the job you're doing, then other opportunities open up. Sure. And then, answering your question though, I think my dad served as a career officer in the Air Force, 31 years, and we did travel a little bit around the country and around the world. I graduated from high school in Japan.
That's right.
But my folks always sort of taught all of us, my siblings and me, that it's not about you, and the most important thing you can do is to serve others. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that sunk in along the way. And to me, it's just sort of a fundamental value. We all know people that it's all about me. And we know people who are more focused on others and trying to make life better for them. So I guess it sunk in along the way.
Well, it's thank you for your service, and thank you for serving the great state of Texas so well. If we don't mind, pivot to a few technology topics.
Sure.
We're a technology firm, and we try and advise our customers and the industry on technology topics and themes. And I know you work very closely with President Trump and with the administration and the kind of America First movement. But with that also comes kind of a strong national defense. And from a technologist's point of view, a lot of us running technology companies or CIOs of firms do feel like we are kind of at war, in a cyber war today. And, it's costing trillions of dollars in ransoms and payments and the cost of cyber insurance and the software to kind of keep our companies safe. And it's really a full-time job to protect what we would consider our homeland, the data and integrity of our company's information and that of our customers. I was wondering if you might talk a little bit about the federal government's approach to that. It seems like just, in my role, sometimes these criminals kind of get away with anything. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of justice or implications, obviously, to their actions. And wanted to get your thoughts on that, and perhaps the administration's thoughts on that. And
well, one of the committees I serve on is the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Yes.
And so obviously we have oversight, supervision of the National Security Agency, NSA, which is our premier cyber security agency. And, it's a big problem, and not just for your company, it's for everybody.
For the government,
including the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Because there's so much money to be made through criminal organizations or state-based actors to not only steal your data, and of course, if you're, let's say, in the defense industry, steal your blueprints for your next, latest and greatest weapon or drone or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's just all sorts of incentives. Part of the problem, I think, is we've focused so much on defense and not enough on offense.
That's a great point.
Now that's kind of it's a difficult issue because we're used to combat, I guess, hand-to-hand combat, military combat, but we primarily play defense on cyber, and there's so many opportunities for bad actors because with the proliferation of software, particularly new software, which has zero-day vulnerabilities, which the software companies may know about and they try to patch, but they may not patch it until it's already known to bad actors and foreign countries. So it is it's a problem without a comprehensive and nice, neat solution to it.
Sure. But
it's an area that I think we have the defense I mentioned, and then we have Cyber Command at NSA, which is the command of the Defense Department, which is supposed to go on provide offensive cyber activity. But as you know, ransomware is using things like cryptocurrency and the like are sort of the most common form of theft by just criminal organizations. So it's a huge problem. I wish I had a great answer for you, but it affects everybody, and we haven't yet figured out sort of an ultimate solution.
Yeah. Well, kind of along those lines, and stealing information and those kinds of things is kind of I refer to as kind of the two most popular letters of the alphabet these days, AI.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about it all the time. And I thought, you're in a unique position to give us a bit of a different perspective on this. And from my seat, I feel like there's kind of two things happening. One is we as companies are working to adapt and adopt technologies as rapidly as we can to introduce innovation and streamline the way our businesses operate. But at the same time, from kind of a government standpoint, it feels like a little bit like an arms race going on right now. The massive investment, most of which you've been able to direct a lot towards the state of Texas, innovation in investment in infrastructure and energy and data centers, and but we don't necessarily talk a lot about kind of that geopolitical dynamic related to AI. And I was wondering if you could just fill us in on perhaps some of those those points.
Well, a lot happening here in the state of Texas, as you noted.
Yeah.
I was recently in Abilene, where 6,000 construction workers are building the largest data center in the world until the next largest data center is built in Atlanta or maybe even in Amarillo next to Pantex, where we store our nuclear weapons. Texas Tech is partnered with former Governor Perry in something called the Fermi organization to do that. So it is sort of it does feel like an arms race, and there's an incredible amount of investment by the capital markets in these data centers to train artificial intelligence. And of course, nobody really knows what that is going to mean in terms of the future, but what I think we all agree with is we have to win, or at least keep up with our competition. And of course, from China is the single biggest competitor. They are notorious stealers of intellectual property.
That's right.
And don't have any respect for that. I mean, but they're also become incredibly innovative, and they've got a lot of people, including a lot of engineers, working on these problems all the time. So, I know Elon Musk and others sort of futurists have talked about the abuses of AI, and I'm sure, like any technology, could be used for ill or for good. But I think it will change our lives. But to your initial point, my understanding is AI was really sort of originated decades ago, but now you can hardly use a sentence without using AI in the sentence, it seems like these days. So it is a big deal, but it's also a huge economic opportunity and a job creation opportunity. It's also, strangely enough, I know you were talking about technology, it also, I think, has exposed our vulnerability in the United States to the fact that we don't build things like we used to and like we need to. I mentioned 6,000 construction workers. Well, these aren't people who are data scientists. They're not, physicists. They're not computer scientists. They are, heating and air conditioning, plumbing,
That's right.
Welding, construction workers. And we don't have as many people as we need pursuing those trades. So what we tried to do most recently is through the Pell Grant program, which is how the federal government provides assistance for college and higher education, is expand the Pell Grant program to cover some of the trades. So if you want to become an electrician or a diesel mechanic or a welder, you can get some help to do that while you learn this skill and make a really good living when you finish.
We're recognizing that kind of same constraint, just even in our own business, where we serve residential communities and finding the right folks who can repair the infrastructure and keep the HVAC going and all those things. It's
I think, as Elon Musk pointed out,
difficult.
if you're in the computer area or digital world, chances are your life is going to be really rocked by AI. But if you're a welder or a plumber or something like that, it's pretty hard to have AI replace you. So
that's true.
It's a little promise and a little peril there.
You also have a kind of a unique perspective on this based off of your history as a judge, and when it comes to AI, we're seeing so much of this even now. Consuming personal information, deep fakes. And then in addition to that, this kind of proliferation of CCTV everywhere and facial recognition and the traveler's pass, for airlines to, streamline onboarding. In some ways, it feels like we're kind of heading down this like slippery slope towards almost an Orwellian, surveillance state. We look at places like London and just like, what in the world happened over there?
Right.
What do you think about just the concept of privacy? And, it's one of the first things our customers ask us. Tell us about your privacy policies.
Well, you're right. And I mentioned earlier that countries like China are more than happy to steal your data, whether it's your genetic data or they raided the Office of Management and Budget, the Office of Personnel Office, and got access to all of the various filings for people seeking security clearances. So very intrusive stuff. But it's, again, two sides of the same coin. The more we give up our privacy, whether it's to Amazon or Netflix or Prime Video, the more convenience we have. And so it's a trade-off. But again, it can be used for good or for ill. And unfortunately, we see that being played out in real time in places like China again, where it's basically a police state where they have to control their population. They use facial recognition software, and you get rated based on your social score that they have if you're compliant or if you act up. It's scary, and it's, as you said, Orwellian. So I think what we've tried to do, at least in the U.S., is to try to protect privacy as much as possible so that people can opt into some of this and not automatically be opted in without your knowledge and have to opt out.
Right.
And of course, there's all sorts of software developments designed to try to protect your individual computers and data. But it's a strange new world, and there's it's hard to see where it's going to go. I would say we are very conscious here, and particularly, of course, financial institutions who are regularly carpet bombed by cyber attacks.
It's true.
They've gotten pretty good and pretty sophisticated at defending that data, whether it's your bank account or your savings account or your mortgage information.
That's right.
And but it's almost like a leapfrog. Every time the bad guys sort of leap ahead, then the good guys have to leap ahead of them to keep up.
I was reminded just the other night that my mother lives in Tennessee, and she was calling to complain about the fact that she had gotten a red light ticket, from the camera, monitoring camera. And, I was encouraged to remind myself that, Texans fought back against that and had those things removed. Yeah. So there are, there is power in the hands of the people still.
Well, always. If once popular opinion is engaged, nothing can get in the way in America.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Based off of all the work you're doing to maintain kind of the competitiveness of the U.S. marketplace as well, a lot of the companies we interact with, global firms, use global talent, and increasingly so, and have become reliant on it. Our firm, as an example, has a very large presence in India and a very large presence in Brazil, hundreds of employees. I was just wondering, from your point of view, if you think that kind of shift, there's going to be a shift in our abilities and kind of freedoms to use global talent as easily as we do today, or if you see that changing in any way.
Well, it can be a very controversial subject, as you know.
Absolutely.
Because we're talking about immigration laws. But to your point, if the jobs, if there's not the talent base here, then you have no alternative.
That's right.
But to establish call centers or what the like in India or places like that. And so we have a twofold challenge. One, I mentioned trying to make sure people receive the job training and the skills necessary to engage in and participate in the credible economic opportunities we have here in Texas and across the country. But secondly, our population is not growing. We're sort of turning into Europe.
Yeah.
Because people are either not getting married, or they're getting married later, or they're deciding not to have children or have fewer children. And the solution to that historically has always been immigration, legal immigration.
Right.
So my position is that legal immigration has been really part of the secret sauce for the United States and our economy.
Yes.
And illegal immigration has been an unmitigated disaster, and we saw that over the last 4 years. But it's we need to continue to try to attract the best and the brightest people to come to America, and they can help create more jobs for Americans. But again, it's a very sensitive topic, particularly if it affects you personally or your family. And so I know President Trump just in the last few days has talked about the B-1 visa.
That's right.
And Secretary Bessent at Treasury said, well, we'll allow people to come to the United States to train our workers and then go home.
Yeah.
I think this is an inevitable conversation that we're going to have, and I look forward to trying to solve that problem, because it's going to be a hard one.
It's absolutely evolving day to day, as well as obviously the work you're doing on securing the border. I mean, that's an ongoing effort.
Right.
I know you're up for re-election here, and in the process of campaigning for that, you've brought a lot of investment back to the state of Texas to really reimburse the state for all the work done to secure the border. Can you talk about some of those programs that you helped bring here?
Well, to our earlier conversation, I think that is securing the border is a prerequisite to our ability to deal with these other issues relative to immigration. And I think President Trump is the ideal person to help do that. He understands this. I mean, he's in the hospitality business.
Oh, that's great. That's a great point. Sure,
and
absolutely.
So, getting workers is obviously important. Part of what we did is in the One Big Beautiful Bill is to require work in order to qualify for some of these means-tested programs. So we need to get more young men off the couch in their parents' basement playing video games and get them back to work if they're able to. So that's the first thing. But yeah, Governor Abbott called me and said, Texas spent $11 billion to secure the border, or to try to secure the border, in the absence of any help from the Biden administration and the federal government. And this is, of course, an international border, which by definition is a federal responsibility. So he asked me and the members of the Texas delegation to seek reimbursement of those funds, which we did in the One Big Beautiful Bill. So there's a 90-day process to apply for and so forth. But I think very soon, hopefully, we'll have a little ceremony in the Oval Office where President Trump will have all the Texas delegation there with Governor Abbott and hand Governor Abbott $11.1 billion check.
Like a big lottery check, one
exactly.
of the big
I'm
cardboard ones.
I can see it now.
Publishers Clearinghouse style. You mentioned Governor Abbott. You mentioned President Trump. Can you kind of give us a behind-the-scenes view into your life as a senator? I mean, apart from your direct staff and your family, who's on your speed dial on your phone as an example?
Well, we talk, I picked up my phone this morning and I noticed I had a voicemail from President Trump. I called him last night after I was attending this program, the U.S. Indian American Chamber event here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And obviously one of the big concerns is India is importing a bunch of oil from Russia, which they're using to fund their war machine in Ukraine and elsewhere. So there were some people there who I'm close to who said, well, we think we have a solution. So I called President Trump up and left him a voicemail, missed him. But he doesn't sleep. And
that's what I've heard.
And he is the most accessible president I've ever worked with. And he likes to talk to his friends and folks, supporters, and on the phone. So, he's eminently accessible, except when he's otherwise occupied in his various duties. But I'm proud of the fact that I've supported this president, like I did the previous Republican president when we were in the majority. Yeah, that's what you do. You support the policies of the president, and so I've done that. Voted with the president 99.3% of the time, and yes, we have counted because there's invariably rumors or misinformation out there suggesting that this person hasn't been supportive enough, and President Trump is the dominant force in Republican politics these days. And so, talking about the primary, which is going to be on March the 3rd, he's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and so my hope is he engages, but he hasn't decided to do that yet, and but hopefully he will. But in the meantime, we're working hard and traveling the state and trying to make sure that we're listening, which is the first responsibility of any elected official, is to listen, and then to learn and to try to explain what it is we're doing, and in D.C. to try to address their needs. And of course, it all begins at the kitchen table. Economics are the dominant concern of everybody in every election. And it's and then I have a good relationship with Governor Abbott because I served with him on the Texas Supreme Court. He succeeded me as Attorney General, and now I guess will be the longest serving governor in Texas history. Good relationships there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You mentioned the reelection. just in our final minutes here, anything you want to say to the voters in Texas that, Texas, obviously the world's the 8th largest economy in the world, unbelievable international investment, the massive growth in our population over the years. You've obviously helped working very closely with the governor and his team to support policies to make it a very business-friendly environment. Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to tell the voters about kind of plans for the future to keep Texas in a leadership position?
Well, I am the luckiest guy in the world to be able to do what I get to do every day.
Yeah,
and it's enormously gratifying. I've got a great team that helped me be as effective as I'm capable of being, but it's a hard process. Obviously, Washington D.C. is no picnic. I always tell people I serve in a forward operating base in hostile territory. And
what is it? If you want a friend in Washington, get a dog.
Get a dog, yeah. Because every day is a battle, and a lot of times it means stopping bad stuff, and that's one of the most important jobs you have. But occasionally, trying to figure out how to make some progress, how to pass legislation, including on a bipartisan basis. That's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor these days, but that's how we govern ourselves. We the people do. But so I think in terms of what I've done, supporting the president and helping secure the border, making sure Texas is treated fairly when it comes to reimbursing the state for border security measures. But some of the problems that we've talked about here are the things I want to work on in the next term. Things like how do we right size and balance our workforce needs with job training for Americans, encouraging more young men to get in the workforce, but then also right-sizing our legal immigration laws to make sure that no American loses a job because of a foreign worker. But once we've addressed that issue, how do we deal with the other workforce needs of Texas businesses? And to your point, we live in the most vibrant state in the world, in the country, and most vibrant country in the world. And so it's exciting to me, all the innovation, all the investment, all the people moving here because of the opportunities. The only downside is the traffic, I know. But
it's pretty brutal.
We'll live with that. And I know the Texas Department of Transportation has invested like $140 billion in new roads and bridges, which seems like are under constant construction.
But they do build them fast. It's impressive.
They do it. They do a really nice job. But we got to build the infrastructure, obviously, to deal with this increased growth and population. But it looks to me like, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is going to be the epicenter of economic growth, people moving out of New York, California, people reincorporating, not in Delaware, but in Texas. We have the new Y'all Street or the stock exchange opening up. I mean, it's so much exciting stuff happening, and I think it's going to be really a great time in the future for our state and for the United States. But a lot of challenges, but as we say in Texas, it's a lot of opportunities.
It's I'm one of those folks who wasn't born here, but got here as fast as I could. Yes, sir. That's exactly right. And one of the things I love the most about Texas is that there is this great sense embedded in the culture of optimism.
Absolutely.
And we're not limited by things. People think differently here.
They do.
Big skies, big opportunity, lots of land. Let's go for it.
And, that doesn't exist in other parts of the country. I serve with 100 or 99 other senators. Of course, Senator Cruz is my colleague from Texas, but all 98 others wish they represented Texas. We are the envy of the nation, but that we can't take that for granted. It doesn't happen by accident.
That's right.
It takes leadership. It takes the right policies.
That's right.
And thankfully, we've got we're doing pretty good, but we can always do better.
Yeah. Well, Senator Cornyn, thank you so much for being here. It's
My
an honor
pleasure.
to meet
Thanks for
you,
having me.
honor to have you, and thank you for all the hard work you're doing on behalf of our state and our country. Look forward to hopefully seeing you reelected here very soon.
Thank you. Well, I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
We want to hear from you. If you have questions, comments, or topic suggestions, contact us at contact@thehomefront.com. And be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram at The Homefront Podcast for exciting news, updates, and announcements.